right. Well, this is being recorded, so I'll go ahead and get started because I know in the interest of time. But welcome to the latest installment of the Concept3D Spring 2024 webinar series. Thanks for making us part of your day. Today's subject, as you can see here, is how to refresh your interactive map. That's right. So today we're going to be doing a little spring cleaning. And we're going to be talking about the ways that you can refresh or update your map, tips to help things go smoothly, what to expect next, how to choose on what to focus on first, how to change front-end styles, and even more than that. As I mentioned, these webinars are being recorded and uploaded to YouTube following the broadcast, which are then added to the Concept3D Help Center so that you can view all of them in one place. You can look for that to be updated a little later this afternoon, and please feel free to share those videos with members of your team who may not have been able to make it today, or with new members of your interactive map team as they join. I'm going to try and make sure I have time for any questions at the end. However, if you do have any, please feel free to add some in the Q&A field or the chat, so I may possibly answer them live. If not, I will be sure to have either follow up with you or have someone follow up with you after this presentation. Also, this is geared towards more of a general audience. So if you do have questions about your specific interactive map, please feel free to reach out to your client success manager, or if you're not sure who that is, contact support@concept3d.com and we'll get you settled. Just a brief introduction here, if you've never joined me before, but my name is Andy Marshall, and I am the head of support and education here at Concept3D. I've been with the company since May of 2021, previously serving as the onboarding specialist for localist events and the customer education lead here at Concept3D. I'm usually working on things like support tickets, presentations such as this one, and creating help site documentation that I'm going to reference a whole bunch today. So a quick look at the overall agenda today and the bullet points of what we'll be talking about. First, we'll discuss how to add map updates in your CMS. And next, we'll talk about how you can audit your list of users and their access levels. We're going to talk about how you can review the existing content on your map as far as locations and categories, as well as map tours and buttons. And lastly, we'll talk about how to change the look and feel of your map, as well as consider where it lives on your website today. And I have this set up in the form of tips and tricks here. So the first one I'm going to recommend here is that you can toggle your map renderings on and off and compare what's beneath on the base map tiles with just the click of a button. So what do I mean by that? Now, this is something that only us here at Concept3D had the ability to do until recently, which we have activated for our admins in their CMS. So here in this example, we have the map renderings on the left, and the bottom of the new location menu, you'll see a checkbox labeled Turn Off Renderings. Simply check that box, and you can hide your renderings to compare with what you see on the base map tiles. You'll still see all your locations and categories, but no 3D images. I'll show this in action a little later in our presentation during my demo. I mentioned this as the first topic as I wanted to discuss making map updates in the CMS. In your CMS's list of locations, you'll see a map edits category that you can save a new subcategory to, or if you don't see a map edits category, simply create a new category labeled map edits to continue. You should use the form of map updates with the year at the end to organize what's changed over time. So for example, this spring would be map updates 2024. Once that category or subcategory is created, you can create locations for those updates and add them to that category. Then save your changes and publish them. Once you've completed all your updates, contact your client success manager to get a quote. Now, as far as what kind of information is required for new buildings and structures or changes to existing buildings, we'll need a site plan showing the building space, landscaping, sidewalks, and surrounding areas. If it's available, you can upload a Revit or SketchUp file using the upload data link in your CMS. When it comes to timelines, once you've signed the work order, we advise about 10 to 15 business days. However, that can be expedited for an additional cost if your changes are urgent. For new building labels, building spelling errors, updating building labels, road label changes, or road spelling errors, we'll need to know the correct spelling and correct location if that location is moving. When it comes to artwork changes on your platform, this must be completed by the Concept3D production team, and you'll get a quote of the work before it's completed, kind of like going to the mechanic for service. Some file types required for certain updates. A site plan does require a .dwg or PDF or JPEG, and must show the surrounding areas. New roads and sidewalks and landscaping as well. However, this does not need to be in color. I think I actually went ahead, yes, here. Photos must be JPEG, and renders can either be JPEG or PDF. Elevations must include each side of a building and can be .dwg or PDF. Models, if they're available, can be Revit files, SketchUp files, .fbx, or .ob. These must be complete files and contain all appropriate links. Lastly, if interiors are being rendered and you're including floor plans, you can use a .dwg or PDF. And you must include room names and numbers if assigning. So my next tip here is that once a year, you should be checking your users and roles to see who has access or to add new users to your map CMS. So while on the CMS, you can click on the account link in the upper right corner of the screen, which will open in a new browser tab and show you a list of blue menu tabs. You're going to select the Users tab here, and you're going to be shown a full list of all users allowed in your CMS, the role they're assigned, which maps they're assigned to if you're managing multiple maps, and some options to edit the user, require a password change, delete the user, or disable their account. And again, I'll show where all of this lives in my demo in just a little bit. So my next tip here is that you can export your data for a spreadsheet view of all of your maps content very easily. And now we're aware that some people work differently and want to see their map content at a glance and not necessarily dig through the locations menu in the CMS all the time. So on your CMS homepage, if you click on the Data Export tab, a new tab is going to open with a spreadsheet view of all of your map's content at a glance. You'll be able to see things like the date added, date changed, name, description, keywords, categories, a tour name, who it was last edited by and when, the visibility settings, the privacy settings, latitude and longitude coordinates, or view and edit that particular content. Now, this edit button here is really, really helpful. If you want to change the information on a specific location, you can just click that button and be taken directly to the edit menu for that location in your CMS. You can also download a CSV of all of this information to share externally with other stakeholders by clicking on the Export Data button in the upper left corner of the page. Again, we'll see both of these in action in just a little bit. So my next tip involves Google Analytics and how it can help you zero in on the most important items to promote or nurture across the map. So yes, use Google Analytics for more insight on what your community is looking for. So since Concept3D tracks all events taking place across the map, the reporting in Google Analytics will let you know exactly what your most used or unused locations, categories, or searches are. You'll need to set up a property view for the Concept3D map at analytics.google.com, for which we have a very handy help article complete with diagrams and step-by-step instructions on how to complete live in the Help Center right now. Just search Google Analytics and you'll see an article with this exact title, Setting Up Google Analytics 4 in Map CMS. This way, you can double check what you're spending time on across the map for efficiency's sake. Again, quick plug for the Help Center, but there are a lot of great resources on Google Analytics there to check out. But here in this example, you can see items such as which marker is being opened the most, which location is getting the most wayfinding requests, commonly searched phrases, and more. So one to call out here that you can see in this example is that the search function is actually the 8th most interacted with event across this map. But if I drill down into it, I can see specifically what's being searched. This way I can evaluate if those items are being supported enough via additional media or information on those locations. I liked this example here as the site visitors are rather hungry, with Panera being the 2nd most searched for term. Must be lunchtime. It certainly is here. But our next tip is that updating your front-end styles of your map is very easy. And we make it very simple to find with its own tab right at the top of the CMS homepage. And from there, you're going to find all of the options to edit the front-end map styles right here in this panel. You'll see WYSIWYG options for a lot of items, such as colors, icons, fonts, button colors, link colors, how to customize your sidebar, or add alt text for accessibility. It also includes things like changing the footer appearance, your form styles if you have a form embedded on your map. Even things like the map's background color or your custom print map can be accessed right from the front end styles tab. So my next tip is that reaching your map should be a 2-click minimum. And what I mean by that is where does your map live on your website today and how easy is it to find? If it's not on your homepage, is it easy to find? More than 2 clicks, and it may discourage users from continuing with the experience. So think about where else it could be included or how you can maximize the visibility of this resource. Ask yourself these questions. Do I know where it lives on the website today? Is it easy to find? Where else could it be embedded? And of course, our best practice recommendation here is that it should be embedded on a dedicated page. Separating the map embed from the other site content makes for the best mobile and desktop experience. And giving the map its own page ensures that all rich media and content that you've included within can be experienced at full size. Okay, so getting away from settings now, and I'm going to focus on a feature called Map Tours. Now, this is not to be confused with our other great product, 360 Tours, as this exists only within your interactive map software and does not require a 360 tour. Using your map as the foundation, you can create everything from a walking site tour to a stop-by-stop guide through specific event information. So you can have specific tours for specific reasons, or you can have one main tour for your visitors to follow. I include Skidmore College here, very close to me in upstate New York, because they only have one self-guided tour, but it's quite a large tour with over 30 stops around the entire campus with information on every stop, as you see here, highlighting the Arthur Zankel Music Center along the way. And again, that's only stop 2. You can reuse existing locations in the tour to create suggested paths to help visitors save time or find the items you want to promote across your campus. So the available settings and best practices here is you can enhance the descriptions of your tour stops with a rich HTML text editor. Just like with categories and locations, your tours can be made private so that they're only available via direct URL or hyperlink. You can also schedule a tour to only appear for a certain length of time or during certain days. If you have 360-degree panoramas you'd like to add, those can be included as an additional form of media during a tour. This does need to be completed by the C3D production team, so reach out to your client success manager to get that started. At this time, you cannot upload your own 360-degree panoramas to your map tours. We recommend tours be about 8 to 10 stops in length to keep visitors engaged, and we strongly recommend building out and enhancing that content with images, video, text descriptions, or audio files to give it a personal touch. And again, this is a great time to consider if you are using temporary or map tours for specific events like commencement, parents' weekend, or other items that only take place over certain times of year. This is a great time to go back and review, just make sure what's live, what isn't, or what you might want to do in the future. All right, so let's chat about something in the account menu. And the CMS map view, you also might want to review the top bar buttons and the CMS map views for your map. And CMS map views is a setting that you can use to set up specific map views at the click of a button or quick links to display in the top bar of your CMS only. So this is really more of an internal way to communicate. In this example here, we have 2 buttons, one of which will bring you to the front end map view immediately, while the other is a link to a tutorial video for map team members to review if needed. Again, this only displays in your CMS, as if you wanted to add some on the front end of the map, you'd use your top bar buttons. I like to highlight our friends at Michigan Tech here, as they have some great top bar buttons live on their map right now. The first one here is a collection of links living in a dropdown under the Groups tab on this menu. And things like the Majors and Degrees Programs button, Request Info button, and Visit and Apply are all external links that open into a new tab for more information about MTU. This is a great time of year to review if any of these links have been updated, or if you want to promote new material both within your CMS or externally on your front end map. Again, a great time of year to review what you have as far as content. And I'm going to show you where all of that lives. As up next, I'm going to go ahead and jump out of this presentation. And I have a list of things I want to review, but if there's anything I can possibly take a look at for you, please let me know. But what I have here is our Concept3D example map here. So you'll see just some of the things we have set up, but kind of working backwards through what I had started with here is toggling on renders on and off. So we'll go ahead and zoom in here and we'll turn on some classification just so that you can see it stays. And then down here in this new location, new category, and new map tour, right down here at the bottom, you'll have a radio button for turn off renderings. And you can go ahead and turn that off and zoom out. And again, you'll see any classification that you have turned on here. But you can actually compare with the base map tiles if anything needs to be different with your 3D renderings, and then they, of course, can be toggled back on. This, of course, led to the creation or using this map edits category here, where you can see we have a subcategory for map updates 2022 created underneath that category. So you'll go ahead in here, and this is where you'll add your map updates for this particular round. So here we have landscaping edit, new gazebo and bandstand. Please add drop shadow at 35 degrees under every label, etc. Once this is finished, you contact your client success manager, and they'll be in touch about next steps and a quote. So let's see here. If we go across the top and we click on this data export button, we're going to jump to that spreadsheet view that I mentioned of all of your map content that can be seen at a glance. So if we scroll down here, you'll see all of the categories, locations, and tours included, last edited by, as well as we scroll over here. I mentioned before, this is super duper handy. If you want to, when you're in this view, and I'll actually maybe make it a little smaller here. Sorry for tired eyes. I just want to try and collect everything in one view here. But if we go down here and we see something that needs to be edited, something like concessions for the baseball tournament, if we click this edit button, it's going to take us right to that particular piece of information in the CMS, so they can be edited right here and saved from this view. So, or you can always Control F if you're looking for something specifically. Again, we know that people work differently, and some people, it makes more sense for them to be in their locations tab and doing it this way. Some people prefer to work in a spreadsheet. So just another way you can kind of find your information quickly and then apply edits quickly as well. And of course, you can always view on the front end. So let's see here. Let's see what the Chick-fil-A on campus looks like according to, there we go. It's right there. Hours are 8 to 12. Very good stuff. All right. So speaking of, you can also export that data with this tiny button right up here, export data, which will create a CSV account or CSV file for all of the information here. If I click this, it'll just go ahead and start the download. And then once that's downloaded, I can go ahead and open that CSV and review that, share it, whatever I need to do with that information, just to review at a glance. All right. So if I come back here and I click on the options button, let me just zoom back in. A little easier to see. If I click options and I scroll down, if you are using Google Analytics 4, you should have a GA4 tag. This is where you can go ahead and add it for the entire map. Just paste it in here and save, and then it should begin tracking. As I mentioned before, if you head on over to help.concept3d.com and search GA4 or Google Analytics, you'll find the setting up a Google Map Analytics view in GA4 for your interactive map to follow along with to set this up and get started tracking if you're not already. Like I mentioned, it's a great way to just find out the specific things people are looking for on your map and possibly provide more information or make decisions based on what people are looking for. All right, the front end styles tab, as I mentioned before, very simple to find right next to the CMS styles tab if you wanted to change the appearance of the CMS. But your front end is going to get a lot more attention, a lot more views. So we understand everything here at a glance, and you'll see it's a very long category. There are a lot of items that you'll be able to try and scroll a little slower for you. You'll be able to edit right from this panel. We make it very easy. And if there's something you don't see here, we're always interested in learning more. So feel free to shoot us a message and we can also see what needs to be added. All right. I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to head back to locations. And again, to edit your tours, you're just going to move over to this tab here. And at a glance, you'll be able to see all of your existing map tours that you can go ahead and drop into. And you can edit right here. Clicking edit is going to bring up that particular tour, as well as complete with stops and what it looks like at a glance. Again, this is a great feature we have, but again, this time of year is a great time to review, where does the admissions tour take them, or what is on the department tour? Do we have new departments? Is there departments that need to be removed? Great time to just take stock of where you're sending map visitors on your tours. And then lastly, up here, I mentioned this account button. If I go ahead and click on account, it's going to bring me to my account page, just with a summary and show me at a glance all the maps that I am assigned to work on or have the ability to work on. And clicking here is going to bring you to that user management menu that I mentioned, where you can review all of the map users on your account at a glance and take action. So if you need to edit a particular user, if you want to require a password change upon their next login, you can do that. You can delete or disable the user if they're no longer with your organization. Over here to the side, you'll see all of the maps that you are assigned to and have admin access to. If you're adding a user, these are how you can assign which maps you're adding them to. And then as you are adding maps, you'll see you can select a role or you can create a custom role. Check out my Interactive Map 101 for more on map roles and users. Or contact us after at support@concept3d.com. And then lastly, if I head back, here is where you can find your CMS map view and your top bar buttons. So clicking into CMS map view, you can see if you compare against the front end map here. I'm sorry, this is the CMS. If we click on the front end map. So in the CMS, we have the front end map and click to view tutorial view. And in here, we have the same front end map and click to view tutorial view. Map views assigned. And if we were in map 1091, we'd see a different button that says map styles. Similarly, for your front end map, you'll click top bar buttons. And here's where you'll be able to see these top bar buttons. So here on the Concept3D example map on the front end, we have Explore Our Culture, which opens to a drop down with several options. Or across the top, we have more options added that you can see here. Oop, wrong tab. Too many tabs, guys. Sorry. You can see here, just as a list, what map and what the top bar buttons are at a glance. And then you can group them here for drop downs such as this one. All right. I think that about does it for my presentation. I'll go ahead and jump back in. Any questions I can answer for you, or if anything else, I appreciate your time this afternoon. Feel free to reach out to us at support.concept3d.com or contact your client success manager for more information about map updates or what to do next. I'll hang around just for a few moments in case there are any questions, but if not, have a great rest of your day. And again, thanks for making us part of your day.